This is our video of installing the Flatliner Low Pro roof rack, ladder, and Fiamma awning. Before we got started, we laid out all the products just to get an idea of where everything went and what we were dealing with. The quality is outstanding. Love the finish of all the aluminum and all the anodized nuts and bolts, even the rubber washers for sealing. Once we had the roof rack laid out, and we knew what we were going to be doing with that, we went to the top of the van, removing the little covers that go over the screws that lead into the van. How these things don't leak, I don't know, but I'm glad to have them off and have some bolts and these nice washers and everything that Flatliner produces. I think it's going to be a much better seal. We did have one of these screw heads where we had to take a Dremel and straighten it out as it did not line up with the threads of the roof, but I hear that's pretty common. We then put down the rubber footing pad, and then we put down each of the feet and then put the screw in. Again, don't tighten everything here. You're just going to want to put everything in, hand tight so that you can move the roof rack forward and backwards a little bit. Make sure that it's all lined up. It ran up really quick, really simple, maybe 20-30 minutes to install the roof rack itself. The awning, when we got it, was brand new. There were no directions on it. But it did make sense. They said something about putting it into the front of the front rail. So again, this was so important not to have everything tightened up. We were able to take that front rail back out and run these little pieces into that T aluminum slot. From there, we were able just to slide it down using, again, a rubber mallet. Allowed us to get that to run down and then tighten it up. Once we had it up on the roof rack, you can see all the screws lined up, and it creates a really nice look. I have like no wind noise. We drive quite a bit in some wind, and we don't hear anything. And I'm just really pleased with the way that came out and the way it sounds. The next thing was actually putting on the awning. Again, not any directions on this, but when you realize that Flatliner does not make the Fiamma awning, they only allow it to fit with their product, and it does fit really nice. It is a nice process. You just have to realize that you are going to be doing some dry fitting, and you're going to probably go up and down a few times to make sure you have what you want. Once we had dry fit it, we found that using this drill head here made it really nice to make some marks in the top here so we could get a nice dimple to start with. Just a couple light taps. This is aluminum, so it's pretty quick. To get your fingers in there to put the bolts in, it's pretty difficult. There's not a lot of space in there. So we did come up with a pretty handy little solution. We put some duct tape on our finger, put the nut on the duct tape, and ran our finger underneath there. So again, you just do the 5 holes. You get that all tightened up. You're going to drill through. Just take your time. It's a beautiful awning. You don't want to mess anything up. But once that was put together and all tightened up, it went up on the rack very easily. We were really happy with the way it came out and looked. Putting the caps on the back, we were in good shape. Our final install was the ladder. And again, without any directions here, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal to put this in, and really putting it together is not a problem. Again, dry fit it, don't tighten anything down, maybe use a rubber mallet to make sure everything's lined up before you do tighten down these 8 bolts here that tighten it up. Here's where it gets tricky. Ford has the skirting along the bottom that you have to remove. And I found this online where it said to take a screwdriver and pop these clips. And they popped pretty quick. Putting them back together, maybe I hit it too hard. I don't know. I took a screwdriver, tried to do what they told me to do, and remove it. So I removed it. I thought things were moving along pretty good. But it looks like I may have broke the clip. Maybe I hit them a little too hard. Which was a little frustrating on that part. But the next thing I ran into where they give us or give you 5, looks like self-tapping screws. The problem is I could not get these screws to self-tap into that bottom lip of the van. It's very heavy steel, multiple pieces there that have been pressed together. And so even once I had it laid down, dry fit, I knew where it was going to go. This plate was going to tie in. Boy, I just couldn't get it to go through. So drill 5 holes and just run some Allen bolts, some real nice Allen bolts through it with lock washers on the back, and that put everything back together, and everything was in good shape. I popped the skirting back on, and yeah, I think it really came out nice. I did run a couple bolts through that bottom there where I felt like I probably broke the clip, but using some larger bolts allowed that to go back in. Here's a good thing. Those skirts are going to be off someday. I'll have some running boards and we'll be able to cover that up. But I hope you enjoyed this how-to, and hopefully it helps you in your install. And I hope you enjoy the finished product here. I believe Flatliner Low Pro Roof Rack is one of the nicest racks out there for weight, noise, ease of installation, and the ability to put that Fiamma awning on. I think they really have a nice product. Thank you very much.